Our guest today is a death metal drummer for the Brazilian band Crypta, and they are ready to release their second album. Let's talk about music, legacy, and design with Luana Dametto. Hi, Luana. How did your week start?
Hello, we are playing in Spain today. Yes, that's about it.
That's good. And talking about touring, Crypta is in the last part of the second leg of this European summer tour, but you had to skip the first part to take care of your health. How was this return to the stage, and how are you feeling now?
I'm feeling good now. I'm pretty much recovered from everything that happened to me before, gladly. And it's been pretty cool, actually. I stayed home for 45 days, and it was kind of crazy because I don't remember staying home for that long since the pandemic. And even before the pandemic, I was touring like very much every month without a stop. So it was really weird. It was nice at some point to stay at home and just like rest and be able to do other things with my life while I couldn't be playing drums or doing much effort. But it feels good to be back, and I hope to never have health issues again.
Yes, let's hope for that. And soon it will end the cycle of the first album, Echoes of the Soul, which came out 2 years ago, with the whole package of music videos, live streams, festivals like Wacken and Summer Breeze, and a world tour that started more than a year ago. How do you see this last 2 years of work? Was it possible to promote the album the way the band imagined?
I would say so, because even with Nervosa, our previous band, I didn't play the US with them with the 4 years that I stayed in the band, because it's really hard to play the US. Like you have to have those like expensive visas that take so long to get up to even apply for, and get how what can I say, well, to go through. And with Crypta, we even covered the US with a very cool tour with Morbid Angel. We covered Brazil many times, played some very cool festivals, played Europe more than once, played Latin America, Central America. I mean, we didn't play Asia with Echoes of the Soul, unfortunately, but I think we covered a very good ground with Echoes of the Soul in this period of the 2 years. So, yeah, I would say we did well with Echoes of the Soul, better than we ever imagined we would be doing on our first album for sure.
Ooh. But unfortunately, this current tour will also be marked by the nightmare that happened in Illinois, in the USA last April. It is hard to imagine all the sadness and fear during that event that hurt so many families. But from our point of view as fans, it seems it made the four of you become stronger and more united as a sisterhood and band. But how do you feel about it?
I would say it was the worst thing that the band went through on touring, that I've been through during touring. And since my early days, my teen days, we never saw something as tragic happen to the band, even like to the fans, because one person died that day. It was just like traumatic for everyone that was involved. But we're very glad that right now we are done with that. Like, I think, of course, mentally, it's always going to be there. We're always going to think about it because it's traumatic. Like, many people from that tour are still like doing therapy because of the trauma that we've been through. But at least financially, I can say that we are done with that, and that is a miracle for us. And we have to thank all the people that really understood the problem and donated, even a little bit, just already helps the band, because with the debt that we had, even if we kept on touring just to pay those debts, we would be touring our entire lives to pay that debt. Like, I don't think many people didn't understand how big of an amount that is for a death metal band. If we like gather all our money from all our personal accounts and what we got from that tour, we wouldn't be able to pay this debt, because sometimes we don't even get any money from a tour, and sometimes we get little money from a tour. So that was just very insane. I'm very glad people donated. I would like to take this moment and this question, to really thank people for that.
And now talking about the second album, Shades of Sorrow, which comes out next month, it is interesting to say that it began to be composed and produced as soon as the first album was released in May of 2022. Unlike the first recording that was made during the pandemic with a series of restrictions, the second one had a normal routine. What was it like to go back to the studio and continue to work on new stuff while Echoes was still so fresh for everyone?
Um, how can I say this? But like when we started the band, I think it was 2019. We already had ideas for Echoes of the Soul, and many of these ideas that didn't go through Echoes of the Soul that we didn't use were there, just kept for our next album. So I wouldn't say we had a rough time or that we rushed or anything to like write the new album, even though we didn't have the time of the pandemic to do that, because many things were already there and many song structures were already there. Yeah, we pretty much wrote the three of us the album, and then Jessica joined later to record the solos and write the solos. So yeah, it was fine, even though we didn't have much time to do it. We had so many things that we had in our like music drive, our songwriting Google Drive. We just needed to put everything together, take some time to put everything together and think on the details. So
And still talking about the new record, another element that I really like about Crypta's work is the whole visual part, and you are a very important person in this area of the band. Since the days of Nervosa, you already worked in the designs of t-shirts, websites, but at Crypta you are there from the concept of the photo sessions to the ideas for the arts. And this new cover art is a good example, as you also co-designed the layout. How has this process of mixing your musical and visual arts been?
I think very natural, because since before Nervosa, I worked as a graphic designer besides drumming all the time. And so it is always my area in events to be designing the layouts, as you said, and to come up with ideas mainly, or to like even put the ideas from the entire band together and try to mix in just one sketch and send to the artist, talk with the artists as well. Since I guess I understand more of the technical side, I can help more with that aspect in the band. Everyone has like its own thing to do in the band that we do the best, and I'm always in charge of the arts and the visuals. So I think I would say it's all very natural. I don't even think about it very much. It's just something I take and I do it myself, and we talk about it later on. And yeah.
Cool. And can you explain a little bit about this new cover for the upcoming record?
Yeah, the album was just like not conceptual, but semi-conceptual, because it's not like one huge story that is written through the lyrics, but it's one big theme. And the theme of this album is the process of pain. It's just this one person going through all sorts of pain, like depression and anger and sadness and all negative feelings that come with these mental health issues that can happen with one person. And it's just like this guy, we wanted like to have someone sort of bleeding to represent pain, and this extinguishment of life, if I can say this in English. I don't even know if that's correct. But we thought that it's not about someone like physically feeling pain, it's just about something mental. So we had this guy cover in a red sheet instead to represent that, instead of having someone physically bleeding, because that would be too literal and weird. And he's just sitting down there waiting to go through this process of pain. There are these 7 swords that we took the idea from the tarot card. Even has lots of meaning behind that, but I would say Fernanda can explain that better, since she knows tarot and I don't. But it's basically a guy sitting there waiting to get stabbed and go through all that pain. He is tied to this chair, but the ropes are pretty loose. So you understand that he can get out of there if he wants to, but he doesn't, because he has to go through that to like become someone else at the end of that. There's all those candles at the bottom of his feet, almost like he's grieving for himself while he's there going through that. And it's pretty much it. This cover was a bit of an idea from each member. Each of us had an idea, like, oh, I want a guy going like with these words. I would like to have him go through that process of being stabbed and stuff. And the other one was like, but I want him tied because blah, blah, blah. And the other one was like, I would like to have the guy bleeding. And then we put it all together, and a mishmash of that was the sketch that you guys saw now.
Very interesting. In October of last year, Jessica Falke was announced as the new guitarist, replacing Sonia Anubis. I assume that Jessica wasn't able to participate much in the songwriting process of the new record, but we can see a partnership and musical chemistry both on stage and in the backstage videos. How has the mood been for the band, now a Brazilian quartet, on the road?
I would say it's a little bit easier. We were used already to writing music in a long distance, because even though we all live in Brazil, me and Fernanda live, like, I live in South Brazil, she lives in São Paulo, which is pretty far. But it's easier financially for us, because when we have to play Brazil, it's just cheaper to have someone already in the country, you know. And unfortunately, she wasn't able to participate on the writing of the new album, because when she got in, as you said, it was already late, and we had everything written, the three of us. And we even had things written with Sonia already when she left the band. But of course, those things were replaced since she left the band. But so most of the things were there already when Sonia was in the band even. So yeah, but she wrote the solos and put her own identity to her solos. And it's very cool for us that you can clearly hear when it's Tainai and when it's Jessica soloing, because they sound very different. So yeah, she participated in that sense, putting her identity on her own thing.
Awesome. At the same time that you're working on your own career, much admired around the world since the days of Nervosa, you are continuing the legacy of great Brazilian drummers who also exported metal on the international scene, such as Igor Cavalera, Achilles Priester, Max Kolesny, and Eloy Casagrande. Were you impacted by the Brazilian metal and drummers while growing up?
Well, thanks for that comment. I think I'm pretty average, so thank you. But yeah, I'm very influenced by these people. I think Brazilian drummers hit harder than most drummers. Even though there's lots of technical people out there, I would say the Brazilian ones are hitting harder. So that's definitely something that I get inspired from. Always trying to hit harder and harder. I've been always a big fan of Achilles. Always had all his stuff, all his merch, the sticks and all the things that he puts out there. So it's very cool to have someone like Achilles following the band. And even like, he was the one that allowed Jessica to come and tour with us, because she was touring with him before. So if he didn't allow, she would have touring already to do with him. So it's very cool. He supports the band very much. He helps me out when I'm stuck in terms of drumming, that I just need someone to guide me. And yeah, these guys are like all friends. Max from Crisium, one of the best blast beating drummers ever, one of the best extreme metal drummers ever. Also like supporting the band and being around, touring around with Crypta. So very cool. And, very thankful to be even mentioned close to these people that I admire so much and always admired so much, even before I could play anything.
Lovely. And you are from that generation that grew up with Joey Jordison's photo on their wallpaper. And nowadays you are the artist that it is on someone's computer or phone screensaver, inspiring mailing a generation of girls who see in you an example of a musician to follow. How do you take this kind of feedback from fans on social media, and especially at meet and greets?
I think, first of all, it is very fucking insane that anyone would use my picture on anything. But second, I would also say that it's, to me, the coolest thing and the biggest motivation for me to keep on playing drums, that I can inspire especially young girls to play drums and to play for real drums, play because they like metal and because they like music, not to get attention, not to get followers, not to look cool on social media, but because they actually like metal and they want to be doing music like that, which is very important for me. I know that girls don't have much reference to look for. I didn't have when I started. All my heroes were guys, which is not a problem. It's just because it is cool to have some females to look for, you know. So I'm very glad that nowadays I can be one of the like influences for people. I have lots to practice still, but it's nice that I even exist, I would say, and that some other amazing girls that I know are out there putting their work on social media and influencing young girls. To me, it's the biggest thing. It's bigger than getting the money, or it's bigger than being playing around in cool venues. It's yeah, like I could be playing death metal anyways. So the fact that I can do that is actually makes a difference.
Yeah, things that money can't buy.
Yeah.
Crypta's hard work, music quality, and charisma have taken its name far, bringing new fans every day. In September, the band will be the opening act for 2 shows of Ghost in São Paulo. And recently, Tobias Forge, who is known for being a fan of death metal, commented that Crypta blew his mind. When you hear things like that or share the stage with some of your favorite bands, is it possible to stop, look around, and seize the moment the band is living?
Um, I think even though all these cool and big things happen to us, it is difficult being in the band and understanding how big it is. Like we just have the same view as um, the same views of ourselves than we had when we were younger. So even though I know that for people outside, we are getting bigger and they all have this perspective of us, it's very different for us in the band. Like it's fucking insane every time it happens. Like I don't think there is a way to get used to your idols talking to you or just like mentioning your band, which happened a couple of times with other guys, like even like drummers that mentioned me or that commented on my stuff. Like you don't ever get used to that, I would say. And I don't want to get used to that because I think it's cool that we still get impressed to talk with our idols. It's pretty fucking cool. And with Tobias and Ghosts, like I was already very hyped that we would be opening for Ghosts because I'm a fan. But especially the fact that Tobias mentioned us is huge. Like I've been listening to all his bands, Magna Carta, Subvision, Repugnant mainly. This is like fucking insane. He even mentioned us. Super cool. And yeah, I think we do not have an idea where we are. It's very cool, but it's difficult to put ourselves in a scale if we had to.
Right. And Crypta's new album, Shades of Sorrow, comes out on August 4th via Napalm Records, and it is a great record. My favorite songs so far are Stronghold and The Other Side of Anger, and I hope the fans will enjoy the full record. If you want to know more about the band, such as news and upcoming dates, search for Crypta Death on all social networks. Luana, it was a pleasure talking to you again, and I hope you enjoyed this interview. Would you like to leave a final message?
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. I also like Stronghold the most. And if you want to follow the band, just go on social media, search for Crypta Death, and pretty much attend to the gigs. That's the only way we know people like us, really. And yeah, it was a pleasure. Thank you.